Hello, guy that I saw like 2 episodes ago, and I'm gonna actually talk to. Oh, classic RPG pacing. Yeah, that's not lighting, is it? You're genuinely split down the center in color? Am I violating your personal space? Is that what's happening? I expected you. We have business, you and I. When I was young like you, I was very impatient, so I will keep our business short. Yes, I'm sorry. Then, later, there may be time for other things. First, I propose to remove my curse upon the Nerevarine, end the persecution of the dissident priests, and proclaim to all Morrowind that Pat Yelchin is the incarnate Nerevarine, the prophesied savior of Morrowind, and the last hope to withstand the menace of Dagoth-Ur and the Sixth House. These things I will do, whether you wish or not. Next, I propose to surrender to you the power and responsibility of defeating Dagoth-Ur. You may choose to refuse, I will not compel you. You will receive the power as a gift, in the form of an artifact called Wraithguard. You may accept the gift or do with it as you will. You will receive the responsibility as an oath. You may give your oath, then keep it, or break it if you like. First, will you accept the Wraithguard as a gift? Yes. Good. Sensible of you. And now, will you give your oath, before all gods and men, before all spirits visible and invisible, before my honor and your honor, to dedicate yourself and Wraithguard to the defeat and destruction of Dagoth-Ur, the preservation of Morrowind and its people? Yes. Not very sensible, but very good. I was hoping for someone who would have no hesitations about making such an oath. You will now have a brief, momentary sensation of time passing. Don't be alarmed. You are being taken out of time in order to avoid unpleasant experience of learning how to use Wraithguard. It'll be over before... There was a brief sensation of motion, in total darkness, floating, but without a sense of weight or direction. You know it. Now. I will notify the temple... Oh, before you know it. That was the connection. Before you know it, now I will notify the temple that you are our champion. There shall be no more persecution of the dissident priests. I hope both sides shall swiftly be reconciled. We have time for questions if you like, or you may leave, as you wish, but I think there are at least 2 things you ought to know before you leave. How to use Wraithguard and how to defeat Dagoth-Ur. Yeah, how about the part where you poisoned me? How about that topic? But okay, defeat Dagoth-Ur. To defeat Dagoth-Ur, go to Red Mountain to recover the artifact hammer Sunder from Gate Citadel Veminal, then recover the artifact blade Keening from Great Citadel Odrosal. Then proceed with Wraithguard, Sunder, and Keening to the Citadel of Dagoth-Ur. Within the Citadel, find the Heart of Lorkhan. Use the 3 artifacts to sever Dagoth-Ur's connection to the Heart, and he will be destroyed, and the blight ended on Morrowind. To destroy Dagoth-Ur, you must sever his connection with the Heart of Lorkhan. To do this, strike the Heart with the artifact hammer Sunder once, then strike the Heart more than once, with the artifact blade Keening. You must wear Wraithguard, because you cannot handle either Sunder or Keening unless you are wearing Wraithguard. That is the short, simple explanation. Here is the long, detailed explanation written down for your convenience. Read it. Study it. Commit it to memory. That's the plan we already read. So they said they don't want to tell me how to use it correctly, the way that Dagoth did. So striking it a second time with Keening will cause it to be destroyed, but when striking it once with Keening is supposed to prime it, I believe. Was what happened before? Let's see. Red Mountain. In my library, I have made available 2 conflicting accounts in the events of Red Mountain. My own, true account, and another false account common among the Ashlanders, and preserved in the Apocrypha. I don't care whether you believe my account or not. I leave it up to you to judge which is true. You don't care whether or not I believe you poisoned me to death in my past life? should probably care a little bit about what I think about that. Library. I want your trust and willing cooperation, so I've had the priest make copies of a number of documents. They're here for you to read or take with you. Take a look at them. Help yourself. Already did. Council. You need to know. Where is Dagoth-Ur? What are Dagoth-Ur's plans? Who are Dagoth-Ur's servants? Who is Dagoth-Ur? What are Dagoth-Ur's powers? What is known about Dagoth-Ur's defense? How can I prepare for battle against Dagoth-Ur? Who can help? Well, I guess we're just gonna start off this, huh? Where is he? Dagoth has never ventured out of the Heart Chamber, the place under Red Mountain where the heart of Lorkhan lies. It is there, or nearby, that he is constructing a new god, Akulukan, also known as the Second Numidium. His plans. It's just saying the copy summarizes it, alright. Dagoth-Ur's servants. Chief among his servants are his 7 brothers, the Ash Vampires, powerful heart-wights and cunning sorcerers of old. These creatures appear to die, but always are revived at the heart. Somehow, Dagoth-Ur has conferred some portion of his immortality upon them, or perhaps they sustain themselves through more conventional sorcery. So who is Dagoth-Ur? Dagoth-Ur is a former Lord High Counselor of the House Dagoth. He was of Lord Nerevar's generation, older than we, and a mighty sorcerer and enchanted in life. It is in his sustained shadow immortality. He appears to be a highly intelligent, severely deluded, immortal monster with unparalleled supernatural abilities. He appears, by turns, lucid and deranged, compassionate and bestial, profoundly wise and profoundly disordered. In short, he is a mad god. His powers. He is able to send his mind into the dreams of susceptible victims across vast distances. The victims are either swayed by his compulsions or driven mad. He also seems nearly invulnerable to physical and magical harm. His flesh, and the flesh of his followers, evolves towards a mutable, magical form. Dagoth-Ur and the highest ranks can control... Dagoth-Ur and the highest ranks can control the distorted manifestations of their flesh. Lower ranks lose control of their bodies and become mindless corpus monsters. His defenses. That's servants. Let's go back. Defenses. There we go. Confer with the Ordinators and Buoyant Armigers garrisoning Ghostgate for the latest information about the defenses of the citadels of Dagoth-Ur and his heart-white kin. Okay. Prepare for battle. I apparently misclicked it here. Where was it? Prepare for battle. Prepare for war. Beyond the Ghost Fence, there are no safe places, no allies, stockpile resources, plan for retreat and replenishment, quest for artifacts of power. Funnily enough, I've already been there before. There's a decent setup here of like making it feel like a climactic location because it's a place that's in the central... It's the central thing of the entire map. You can see the boundaries of it constantly. This Ghost Gate, the Ghost Fence. You see it everywhere you go. Often with no explanation, you have to ask what it is, and you don't even know what to call it at first. Like, a lot of this game probably inspires different things in different games. Like, I found myself wondering if perhaps this game inspired elements of Dragon Age's story, for example, because Dragon Age is all about somebody messing with the fabric of reality, essentially, and creating the worst possible... Like, if I haven't gone through Dragon Age for a while, because ever since I finished Inquisition, but I think, if I remember correctly, the cycles of problems that happen there were all caused by someone screwing with the fabric of reality for power, and going where they shouldn't have gone, and going mad. The whole mad sorcerer storyline. I can't help but notice similarities between that and what happens with the, everyone screwing with this, this Heartfire. Was it called Heartfire? Was it called the Heartfire? I forgot what it's called exactly. It's fine, the Heart. But on top of that, like, I'm playing, Breath of the Wild right now, the new Zelda game, and I can't help but think of, like, the big, menacing, central, final boss, castle place, which is the central location of the entire map. It is an impassable thing that looks menacing, and you have to go around it constantly through the entire game. And it's then the satisfying conclusion of the story is to finally go in there and deal with the problem finally. I wonder if the fence will be gone after I defeat Dagoth-Ur, if this all goes as planned. I'd be curious to see if the obstacles go away. Who can help? Ordinators and buoyant armigers stationed at Ghostgate have the most practical knowledge of the nightmare world inside Ghostgate. Seek them in my name for counsel and aid. I think that's it then, huh? I think everything is exactly what we thought it was. Oh, that's actually went somewhere new. I clicked on business again and went, actually, I believe we finished our business. I will notify the temple that you are our champion. There shall be no more persecution, and I hope both sides will shortly be reconciled. Now you are my guest, I am your host, and we have time for explanations, or counsel, or questions. Bitter recriminations if you like, or you may leave, if you wish, as you wish. But I think before you leave, you should hear how to defeat Dagoth-Ur, and how you must use the artifact Wraithguard. So, explanations. Here's some stuff, yeah. What do you want to know? Why did I wage war on the Nerevarine? Why did I try to suppress the Apocrypha? Why did I persecute the dissident priests? Why is Dagoth-Ur winning the war? How does the Tribunal fight Dagoth-Ur? And what are the Wraithguard's powers? So let's start with the War of the Nerevarine. Why did I try to kill you? Because you threatened the faith of my followers, and I needed their faith to hold back the darkness. And I thought you were my enemy, a pawn of the subtle Daedra Lord Azura, or a pawn of Emperor Uriel Septim, or a simple fraud, perhaps a hero, but not much of one if my faith could destroy you. Now circumstances are altered. I need you and you need me. Suppress the Apocrypha. Why did I suppress the Apocrypha? Because it was such an unfortunate mixture of truth, falsehood, and speculation that I couldn't afford to manage the confused reaction of our faithful. Any doubt whatsoever weakened their faith, and we needed their faith to give them the power to maintain the Ghost Fence. In retrospect, perhaps we lost the faith of those we most needed, while preserving the faith of the meek and indifferent. Perhaps a mistake was made. Who can say? The persecution of the dissident priests. Suppression and persecution of dissident is just one of the standard tools of statecraft. I believe we erred in trusting the judgment of Baro Salah. He and his ordinators served valiantly in the war against Dagoth-Ur. We mistook his misplaced zeal for energy and dedication. Mistakes were made, but no more. There shall be no more persecution of the dissident priests, and I hope both sides shall swiftly be reconciled. It's interesting to have an enemy that basically, more or less just admits they're wrong. Kind of, sort of. I don't know, they're at least they're repealing everything in the light of the new information at the very least. So why is Dagoth winning? Dagoth-Ur is winning because he is close to the source of power, Lorkhan's heart, and because he retains the passion of madness, while we have settled into the lonely and unrewarding posture of dogged dutifulness and perseverance. And finally, perhaps because he is stronger and smarter than we are, and his followers are more fervent and fanatical. I believe we were careless and complacent, and outwitted, and in a matter of denying the Nerevarine, we were foolish. Yeah, he's actually saying he's wrong at that point. The Tribunal fight Dagoth-Ur. In the past, the Tribunal made seasonal campaigns to Red Mountain. We slew Dagoth-Ur and his kin, though the heart always revived them in time. Later, when we realized we couldn't possibly destroy them, we created the Ghost Fence to contain the threat. These solutions were effective until Dagoth-Ur ambushed us and captured Sunder and Keening. Since that time, our fortunes have waned as his increased. And Wraithguard's powers. Wraithguard's primary function is to protect the wearer from the fatal energies of the artifacts Sunder and Keening. It also has minor protective enchantments against physical and magical damage that you may find useful. We're going to scroll way on back. What was the previous thing? Questions. What can I ask about here? And on some level, the difference between business and counsel and questions and recriminations and explanations is a little all over the place, but they're different branches. This is what story branches looked like back before we had BioWare's way of handling dialogue, basically. Either of them, really. The one where it was a list of things you'd click on the bottom of the screen for branching storyline, branching dialogue, or the later Mass Effect dialogue wheel. This is... Woo, boy, they got really crowded real fast. Okay. You are curious what really happened to Red Mountain. What really happened to the Dwemer? What was the Dwemer's sin? What is it like to be a god? Do I remember being mortal? How do I feel about the people of Morrowind? So Red Mountain. That's the conflicting accounts. We talked about that before. The Dwemer. I have no idea what happened to the Dwemer. I have no sense of them in the timeless divine world outside of mortal time, and in fact, if I did believe they existed, I would be in no hurry to make contact with them. They may, with some justice, hold the Dunmer race responsible for their fate. My intuition is that they are gone forever, and this is perfectly fine with me. What was their sin? The sin of the Dwemer was the creation of a new god from the substance of a dead god, Lorcan. That is also the sin for which we would destroy Dagoth-Ur. I hesitate to call it sin. More properly, call it destructive evil. The sin of the Tribunal, however, is in the breaking of an oath to Azura to forbear from tapping the heart with Kakernak's tools, and in the folly of seeking to become gods. Breaking the oath was evil. Becoming gods was folly. If we sinned, we have paid the price. Doesn't breaking the heart kill all the gods? How's that work, I wonder? What's it like to be a god? It is like being a juggler. Things are always moving and you learn to know where they are without even thinking about it. Only there are many, many things moving, and sometimes, like any juggler, you drop something. I'm afraid it has become a lot more matter of dropping things lately. There's too much to do and not enough time, and I'm losing my touch. Perhaps I'm growing old. It is a bit like being at once awake and asleep. Awake, I am here with you, talking, thinking and talking. Asleep, I am very, very busy. Perhaps for other gods, the completely immortal ones, it is only like that being asleep, out of time. Me, I exist at once inside of time and outside of it. Dr. Manhattan? It's nice never being dead, too. When I die in the world of time, then I'm completely asleep. I'm very much aware that all I have to do is choose to wake, and I'm alive again. Many times I have very deliberately tried to wait patiently a very long time. A very long time before choosing to wake up. And no matter how long it feels like I wait, it always appears when I wake up that no time has passed at all. That is the God place, the place out of time, where everything is always happening all at once. That's bizarre to think about, the idea that like they can wait as long as possible and they still wake up at the moment they died, basically, like they're that continuous. It's because it's probably because they're tied to the very nature of the universe, so observing the nature, like almost like observing the universe is what makes the universe happen. So the moment they aren't observing the universe, it's like the universe isn't happening until they come back or something. Except they're all collectively doing it, so it's weird to think about. Do you remember being mortal? I remember. I do not feel it. I can, if I choose, remember the feeling, but I do not choose. It is very, very sad being mortal. There is happiness, yes, but mostly sadness. As I have said, count only the happy hours. For mortals, they are all too few. But for gods, for me, there is no more feeling, only knowing. Not quite no more feelings. I still want to win. I want to defeat Dagoth-Ur. Perhaps I have lost the feelings for the people, for their suffering. I don't want that feeling. It is of no use to me. That is no longer what matters to me. I only want not to lose. To lose would be very, very bitter. Wow, so he's probably not a great leader if he doesn't even care about the people, because he doesn't feel anything for them anymore, and he's just waging war on Dagoth-Ur because he just desires a victory and nothing else. So then how do you feel about the people of Morrowind? Because it seems like we had an idea already. I love the people of Morrowind. I became a god to make their lives more comfortable and secure. I am most close to my faithful followers. I am literally in their hearts and minds. I feel the most sympathy with House Rodoran. They are Dunmer driven by creeds and deeds, like I am. House Indoril is closer to the compassion and sympathy of Almalexia, a comfortable and serene serenity. House Delvani matches the disposition of my brother Sotha Sil, iconoclastic, profane, unconventional. House Alalu represents the future of the Dunmer, integrated into the sophisticated mainstream of the traditionless, raceless, godless culture of the Empire. House Dres represents the past of the pre-tribunal Great House culture, a persistent tradition of Daedra, an ancestor-worshipping civilized Dunmer clans. And I even love the Ashlanders for their preservation of the most ancient barbarian tribal traditions of the Dunmer who have first settled Morrowind. So he claims to love his people, but he doesn't feel them. Let's see. What was the exact part about not feeling anything? Yeah, perhaps I have lost the feeling for the people, for their suffering. I don't want that feeling. So he claims to love his people, but he won't feel their plight, which is kind of problematic if you want to truly empathize with them and make the decisions that might be in their best order. So it seems, I'm not entirely sure, but it seems like maybe he's cut himself off from the emotional element of understanding his people, and instead is just conceptually fighting for his people based on how he thinks you do that, without ever really double-checking or going back to the feeling of understanding them again. So it's almost like a... it almost feels like the concept of like when somebody creates an android and that android has a bunch of algorithms for how they're going to behave, but then they never get updated ever again. So they have one model for behaving that might never change because they don't take in additional information from the humans that created them in the first place, and that can have positive or negative feedback or results. Bit of recrimination I'm curious about. You want to chide me? Why did I murder Nerevar? Why did I break my oath to Ashura not to use the Kagranek's tools? Why did I cause others to suffer? The murder's a good place to start. We did not murder Nerevar. The legend that we murdered Nerevar comes from a story told by a shield companion to Nerevar, Elandro Sul, who lived among the Ashlanders. The Ashlanders have retained Elandro Sul's account as part of their oral histories. The account is persuasive in some details, implausible in others, and is in any case false. I have 2 accounts of Nerevar's death here in my library. Read them and judge for yourself. It could go either way. That's kind of the frustrating thing, of course. It is interesting, though, to have, like, the fate of your history, of your own character, not be known, because there's 2 arguing accounts of your own history, and they both are going to just claim the other one's lying. Why'd you break your oath? Along with Lord Nerevar and his insistence, Almalexia, Sotha Sil, and I swore before our guard of oaths at the time, the Daedra Lord Azure, never to employ the tools of Kagranek for any purpose. We broke our oaths. We turned our backs on the old gods. I still see no compelling reason to worship any of the Aedra or Daedra, but for the respect I held for Nerevar, and the respect I held for myself, I should never have betrayed my oath. Of all my life actions, I most regret that failure. And why'd you cause others to suffer? Why did I cause others to suffer? I respect that question, and you for it. The most I can say is, I did the best I could. As I saw things, can you, mortal, presume to judge the actions and motives of a god? But, because I need you and you need me, I will make an accounting for my sins to you. But not now. Destroy Dagoth-Ur, and then we will discuss my sins. Then, perhaps, you will have earned the right to judge me. I think that's it, ultimately. That's the gargantuan list of things to discuss with this guy. It was worth taking a look at it, curiously. Alright, so enjoy being a floaty, strange man who just floats around in this room and dwells on the fact that, he betrayed people, I suppose. Let's see. Anything new here I'm just curious about. The Ring of Too Much Fatigue. I love that that shows up as the name of the list, too. Nothing new, really. I was curious about that. Just wanted to see if some sort of development would come up. It's time to go on a trip. I suppose I'm gonna go head straight to the Ghost Gate. Or not, I could pick a... should consider... let's make my way to the Mages Guild, I think. Any updates from you? You spoke to the Archcanon, good. Then is there anything else you want? Spells? You have anything really cool? You got a bunch of restore skills. I mean, they cost like nothing. Let's just go. There, I have all your spells. You can't take them back. No takey backsies. There.
I can spare a few moments if you care to talk.
My intention is to expand my spell suite just to increase the number of overall things I can pick from when I go in for enchanting and stuff like that. I very much wish that this thing would get categories. It doesn't do it, does it? Just a gargantuan singular list. I wonder if somebody made a mod for that, because that seems like a necessity. It seems like you'd want to have a separate tab for, like, alteration and destruction and illusion and so on. In fact, oh! Well. Good thing there's a thing right here. In fact, I think that might have happened in, Oblivion? Oblivion's the game I spent the most time playing, because I got 100% completion of the achievement list on the Xbox 360. Which isn't the same thing as actually completing the game, it just means I beat the entire story, and I got to the final tier of every guild. And what else was it? I think you had to go through you had to also do a bunch of stuff for the expansion, which had one annoying achievement because you had to make a decision at one point in the expansion, and there was an achievement for each of the 2 options in that expansion. So you had to have a save available, or replay the entire expansion in order to get back there. Wait, no. I want to go higher upstairs. Gonna find myself the Mage's Guild. Can do enchantments. I suppose I could look into, well, I'm like going sideways a little bit. I could look into what enchantments I can put on my gear, because they all have slots, but those won't be worthy of the Golden Saint. So I have to be very careful what I do with the Golden Saint enchantments, because, here, is this the, yep. How does my gear do? So I assume I can't enchant the Savior's Hide, because it already has a ridiculously, expensive enchantment on it. So I probably can't enchant it more. Nordic full... This thing's so garbage. It's just the only light helm I found. I might want to try to look at a database somewhere to see if there's a helm somewhere I can find, just to finally be satisfied by my headgear of what a Khajiit can wear. Otherwise, yeah, I'm gonna want to... I'm probably not gonna wear a 20 Magicka belt, so I'm gonna want to probably find like a belt I can find that has the highest enchantment cap, and then try to enchant that with something effective. Maybe shielding, maybe stat bonuses of some kind. The important thing is I have 320,000 gold. I can get more, not unreasonably, because I also have all this gear to sell right now. So I have all of this gold, and I also have... Wait, where are they? Wait, where are they? Am I blind? Didn't I have 2 Golden Saint Grand Soul Gems in here? Where the fuck did they go? What? They don't... These are all items, right? These are all equipment items, so like they're not over there. Magic. That's all magical gear. Welp. I mean, I want them. I might need to cheat to bring them back. That's too crushing of a thing to go. Could they have been confiscated? Is that what could have happened? Were they ripped from my inventory without me knowing it at some point? By a guard? Like, that's too much of a problem to accept. Holy shit, they're just gone. I don't see them in here. Well. See you guys next time.
You, Outlander.
Gonna figure this out, and maybe figure out what to enchant myself with. And then we'll get ready to head out or something. Those were kind of a big deal as far as items go. Well,